Meaning of goods and services.
Wow, this chicken is so delicious.
What can I say? Your aunt is an excellent cook.
I totally agree. By the way, when are you planning to tell me about goods and services? It's the reason why I came here, remember?
Oh, yes, I almost forgot. In fact, we can talk about them right now as we are eating.
That's fine by me.
All right, provided you don't choke on your food, of course. Now, anything that is tangible, and by tangible I mean that it can be seen and touched, it is referred to as a good.
Don't forget, it should also satisfy a human want.
That's my girl. And they too have characteristics.
You have already mentioned that they can be seen and touched.
That is one characteristic. They also have money value.
Makes sense. I know that a loaf of bread costs 50 shillings and so does a packet of milk.
Yes, but their value can change over time. For example, during my youth days, a loaf of bread cost 10 cents.
10 cents?
Yes.
I should have lived during those times.
Well, getting money was not so easy during those days. But let us not go away from the topic.
Okay.
Another characteristic is that goods can be stored for future use. You have any examples?
Oh, there are plenty of those. I, for one, has bought extra exercise books, pens and pencils to use at school when the ones I am currently using are over.
That is a very good example.
My mother also stores maize, beans, and millet from the farm each year so as to use later.
Your mother is a visionary woman. She got it from her brother, of course.
You? Someone is bragging.
You ask her.
Okay,
Well, goods can be standardized.
please explain.
In the simplest term possible, this means making of goods to become identical. Take sugar, for instance. How many companies produce sugar in Kenya?
Oh, there are so many. Mumias, Chemelil, Muhoroni, Sony Sugar, among many others.
Then there's also imported sugar. Question is, if a sample of sugar was taken from each company and put in different plates, then you are called upon to say which sugar came from which company. Would you be able to do so?
Nope. All sugar look the same once they are out of the paper bags.
In other words, they are standardized.
Wow. I like the way you explain things, Uncle Jonathan.
I have been a professor for so many years now. Explaining is what I do best.
Yes, I will keep that in mind.
Good. Goods can also be separated from the producer. The productions mostly take place in factories and then they are transported to various markets where the consumers can purchase them.
That's clear.
Finally, goods can be produced at one time and consumed at a totally different time.
I didn't know that goods have so many characteristics.
Now you know. Now let's move on to services. Services are intangible actions that one offers to another. They include things like lecturing, banking, hairdressing, entertainment, transport, security, medical care, etc., etc.
It's okay, I understand. And I can already guess some of the characteristics too.
Aha, go ahead.
They cannot be touched or felt. They also cannot be stored for future use. And of course, there is no way they can be separated from the service provider.
Good job.
Wait, I am not done yet.
Okay.
The production and consumption of services take place at the same time, and services cannot be divided into smaller units.
Wow. I think you'll make a great professor someday.
Thank you, Uncle.
Now, to that list, I can only add that a service has money value and so it can be exchanged for money. Now, discussing goods and services cannot be complete without discussing economic resources.
Economic resources? I have never heard of that.
That is why you came to the best. An economic resource is anything that people use to produce goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants.
So it is kind of a tool.
You can call it that. For example, to make fruit juice, one will need the fruit, some sugar, the machine or equipment that will squeeze the juice out of the fruit, as well as preservatives.
So all this make the economic resources for the production of the juice. Now I get it.
Good, and I'm glad you are getting it. Now, before I tell you the various types of economic resources, let us look at their characteristics.
Sure.
To begin with, economic resources are scarce. So many people have needs which should be fulfilled using these economic resources, and as a result, there is always shortage in supply.
I understand that. It all goes back to the fact that human wants are unlimited.
Yes. Imagine having one small piece of land and yet you have so many crops you'd like to plant.
Then you will have to do rotation of crops.
And your agriculture is very good.
I'm all-round student.
Oh, yes, you are. So you see, in the above case, the scarcity of the land is forcing you to only grow one crop at a time.
I get the point.
Secondly, economic resources have money value.
They have a price.
Yes, they do. Whether you want to acquire land or an equipment or machinery, no one would give them for free.
I would have to pay for them.
Yes, a high price for that matter, depending on the resource you are acquiring. Economic resources can also be combined in various proportions.
I think you lost me there.
Well, stay with me. What I am simply saying is that sometimes the final product is a combination of so many other individual resources. The desks that you use at school, for example, where do you think it came from?
I think they're made of wood, some steel, nails, and I think sandpaper is used to make the wood smooth.
There goes the answer. All those things that you have mentioned have to be combined in the right proportion to come up with a desk. Now, economic resources can also be put into alternative uses.
I think I can explain that.
Please go ahead.
If I had a bottle of water, I could drink it to quench my thirst if I was thirsty.
Yes.
I could, however, use it to make some tea or maybe to cook some ugali.
I don't think I have anything to add to that after such a wonderful explanation.
Thank you.
Now, in addition to the fact that economic resources are scarce, there is also the problem of them not being evenly distributed.
Unfortunately, yes.
Take Kenya, for example. The northern part is so dry that they cannot practice any useful farming.
But at least they have oil.
Yep. In the central part, the climate is perfect for arable farming. The western side can practice fishing because of Lake Victoria, and so on and so forth.
No one has access to all the resources.
No one. This even goes as far as one country being richer in resources than another, or even one continent to another. Some resources, on the other hand, are complementary.
They go together.
Yes, bread and butter, pen and ink, shoe brush and shoe polish are good examples.
And buying one automatically creates the need for the other.
Correct. Economic resources should also have utility.
Utility.
Yes.
Please explain.
This is simply the ability to satisfy human wants.
I see. So a resource must be able to satisfy a human want for it to be called an economic resource.
Correct. Otherwise, it will be useless. Finally, they are transferable from one person to another through sale or as donations or gifts.
Oh, I love gifts.
I'm sure we all do. Now, finish up your meal and we can talk about these economic resources one by one.
Oh, yes. I am so excited.